Greetings, subscribers, as well as those of Muslim faith. Assalamu alaikum. And I hopefully we'll have a good audience today. First, I would like to deal with something which is personal. I think assume that the intelligence war between the Saudi-Pakistan alliance and Israel is in progress. Now, one of the ways you can defend yourself as well as your country is by starting and restarting your mobile phone. Typically, those kinds of software like Pegasus and other ones, if you restart it, the threatening party has to re-inject them. They resend them in. So if you basically start or turn it off and then turn it back on, most of it will be eliminated. If we get into serious problem, we will definitely have a solution for it. We already know of some, but that'll require a little bit more technical knowledge than just doing a restart. So anyway, let's go to the next one. A couple of things in here is a lot of people, conspiracy theories. Okay, with this Saudi-Pakistan pact, America will put sanctions. I'm here, you're going to be here. There will be no sanctions. This goes exactly according to what Trump wants. Now, what is that? So far, the tail has been wagging the dog. Israel is running around doing what it feels like doing, and Trump is trying to get ahead of them, and it's very hard. So this actually gives pause to Israel before it starts doing any more damage in the region. So far, they've struck those countries with whom they've had diplomatic relations. Israel has struck Dubai hardly a few months after they recognized in 2010, and they killed their Hamas co-founder at that time. Next one was Doha. When Doha and Bahrain was doing the stuff for them for a ceasefire, they came in, ceasefire talks, American and Israeli agreed upon, and they came in and they basically attacked all the diplomatic enclaves and tried to kill the top leadership. They killed some Hamas people, but they really couldn't get them the top leadership. So here's the thing. Israel follows a set doctrine of intelligence warfare, which is the octopus doctrine. Octopus doctrine is very simple. They go after the top leadership, get rid of them. Then they come to middle leadership, get rid of them, and then they go one level below. And after that, they open up with a bombing campaign. At this stage, I think they have got their hands full with Iran, but they are beginning to see signs how these guys will be coming into our area. So we have to be very careful and get ready, because this is not an enemy which you can underestimate. Israel, Mossad is world class. Their internal security Shin Bet is world class. Their air force is world class. They have stealth jets. They have fantastic training. Their special forces are fantastic too. For those who remember, Uganda, Idi Amin held some of their hostages in Entebbe. It's an airfield in Uganda. Their people went long range, landed there, rescued the hostages, brought them back, and killed all the rest of the guys, the hijackers. So very, very efficient. So this is one area where I hope the conflict doesn't go open. But at the same time, both the sides are very equally matched, and they will be exercising restraint. I don't think Israelis miscalculate. They're very smart people. And I think hopefully after the world is recognizing Palestine, something moves towards talks, so this area gets diffused. However, I don't think so. Now, we'll talk about the next step. President Trump. Now, what does he expect from Pakistan? That's the key thing to remember. The Saudi Pact and the Pakistan Defense Pact was done after he had given his agreement. So Trump does like it. For those who are joining our channel recently, I'd like to let the new people who are joining us to know that in our earlier videos, I had clearly stated the reasons behind and why Pakistan is a pivot state for both US and China. US and China have exactly the same interests in South Asia as well as Middle East and West Asia. But dominantly, one of them is in any conflict with Iran between the West and Israel and Iran, the Straits of Hormuz should not be blocked. Now with this defense treaty, both Saudi Arabia and Pakistan can ensure this does not happen. So that is one of the pivot points for, as a pivot state, is the responsibility which we have. Now let's talk about another part. Our field marshal was in Riyadh when they signed this agreement. So was His Excellency, our Prime Minister. They went directly to London after that. I'm sure they've been busy. It was not a holiday trip. So slowly things will come out and we will keep you informed. But you can always guess. Today, our Field Marshal and our Excellency Prime Minister are in New York. Okay? They will have a one-on-one with Trump probably on the 26th of September. Our Prime Minister, His Excellency, will address UNGA. However, before that, there is another meeting. President Trump has called a meeting, invited leaders of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Qatar, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and Egypt for a joint meeting. Interesting. I'm sure it's not about sharing climate change. I think it's directly an outcome of what Trump wants to do in the region. Okay. For those who think this is a Muslim NATO is coming, it is not coming, Muslim NATO. For those who think this is a nuclear issue, it is not a nuclear issue. Because here's one thing which Pakistan has done. Pakistan also added another force called the rocket force. We don't need to escalate all the way up there. If need be, we will escalate to the rocket force and let's see how the enemy takes it. The last time we did, somebody was begging Trump to have it stopped. And they agreed. They declared 500 dead over. And over 100 of them at their air bases. If that's how many they agreed, guess how many wounded there were? I'd love to get a tally of all the hospitals in India. How many were there? So I would say rocket force mostly will be handled at that level. Pakistan is a phenomenal conventional power. And as Praveen Sani, a very senior analyst, well respected internationally, has said Pakistan has emerged as the leading power in South and Central Asia and West Asia. He also said this is the leading power, and after the Saudi alliance, it is a very big power in the region. and he thinks it's time Modi comes to the table and talks sense. And he's saying even Pakistanis do not want war. However, you said you've seen when you wage war with them, what happened? And this time he was very clearly saying how many casualties and what's the rest. Not a good thing. All right. Now let's get back to another issue, which has been rearing its head. Trump has been saying to Taliban, give me Bagram Airbase. Otherwise, bad things will happen. All right? Taliban said, no way. We are not going to give you Bagram. Okay? Now, I leave it to your guys' imagination what bad things can happen. And I will tell you what bad things will happen for Trump. And I think they're going to use their pivot state, Pakistan. And Pakistan had already said to the Taliban, make a choice. You're with the TTP or you're with us. There's one consensus, everybody's fed up with what these guys are pulling in Central Asia and in South Asia. Secondly, let's get back to the area of Iran. UN voted snapback sanctions on. That means if Iran doesn't move and they do no I by shine, they can't run around and make some excuses. They can't make excuses. And what they have is the 29th. These sanctions go automatically in effect. Okay. So when they go in effect, Iran will not be able to buy even a screw from outside. Okay. So that's a very hefty sanctions. And there is something else President Trump has said. He said in 2 weeks, I will decide what to do with Iran. That is around 6th of October. However, Iranians have said, with a warning to the US and Israel of deadly consequences against any miscalculation and aggression. Now, one of the things I think here is Iran is miscalculating. No country in the world wants them to enrich uranium. Even the Russians say so, Chinese say so, the West says so, the UN says so. And I don't need to complete my sentence. However, our host, Ms. Sharbano, would like to join us and take me to task with what I'm saying. And this time she's been hiding the questions. And so I'm going to be blindsided this time. Sharbano, all yours.
All right, thank you so much. So you were just talking about Iran and UN sanctions. Can you just elaborate some more details that why did Europe trigger the snapback of UN sanctions? And how will this affect Iran's nuclear ambitions?
Snapback sanctions, when they had the deal, there was a deal, there's a clause left in there. The clause went like this, that in case they don't come to a final agreement on uranium, the Europeans can start the clock on all the sanctions which Iran had previously onto them again. So they're going to be in a very bad situation. And this does not require really a Security Council vote. This goes automatically, comes on. And basically it means completely isolated. So whatever their economy is going to go into a dive after that. So, I mean, all that train made from the north coming into Iran, yeah, we've got connection to Russia, we've got connection to China, but according to the UN, they can't give them even a pin and can't receive a pin from them for payment. And whatever they were getting in cryptocurrency, that has been cut off. Their $1.5 billion in cryptocurrency funds have been frozen.
All right.
Next.
You were also talking about Bagram Airbase, that Trump is demanding control of that airbase. So, how does its proximity to China make it such a critical geopolitical asset for the US?
The virus for watching China, I think Trump is just trying to throw it out there. Now, if you want to see, let's talk about it, and I'll show it on the map. Do you mind? Okay.
No.
Let's come here. Bagram Airbase is to the north of Kabul here, somewhere here. China, Sri, Tajik, Ladakh, and these guys are here. So I think Mr. Trump needs to look at his geography, that he won't be monitoring anything nuclear from sitting here. Now, some of our frantic people say, oh, it's probably for Pakistan. No, it's too well defended and everything else, and it's not worth it. If anybody comes after a nuclear asset, they'll be killed, captured, and gone. So I don't think it's that. What I think is this Bagram Air Base is right here. Bagram Air Base, just north of it, is a very good air base, but it gives the US a better feel for Central Asia and Russia. And if they do go there, it'll go there with the backing of Pakistan. All right. Now, what bad things can happen? Well, use your imagination. Because I'm in an area where we Pakistanis, our mind can't comprehend these things. We'll have to do things which we've never thought of doing before for the betterment of Pakistan. So nothing bad. We have to get up and play within a pay grade now, as opposed to acting like a beggar. So we would play like a regional power plays. So next
All right.
question.
So, would retaking that airbase essentially amount to the re-invasion of Afghanistan? And what political cost would that carry?
I don't think USA will re-invade Afghanistan. I think they will
Hmm.
probably have a paper state do some of the hard work.
Okay.
Let me go back in history for you.
Mhm.
During the Ranjit Singh's time, he was a Punjabi king, mostly of Sikh descent. They had a problem with the heirs of Nader Shah. Nader Shah, killer of the Delhi, he beheaded the emperor, Rangila, and everything else. And they had a skirmish. The Sikh forces were led by a French general. They thrashed them. The Sikh forces thrashed. Punjabi forces thrashed Nader Khan's forces. So they ran back, immediately brought out the Kohinoor. They said, oh, please, take the Kohinoor and leave Peshawar alone. They took the Kohinoor and they invaded Peshawar, put their own governor. Then they said, oh, we are going to do this and this and this to you if you come towards Kabul and Kandahar. The Punjabi Sikh army came, conquered both, put their own governors. And they were quiet. The heirs of Nader Shah were quiet for a very long time. So I would say we have to be very careful what we say now.
All right. So there is let's come to another point, that there is another war going as well, that is intelligence war. I would like your comment on that. The war creates a new world order dominated by a few technological superpowers. Can smaller nations keep pace through alliances and shared platforms, or will they be left behind?
I think most of these smaller countries will have to find alliances. And if you look at the Middle East, we go there. There are two countries which are basically having relations with Israel, these ones, and Bahrain. And they've been rewarded by Israeli strikes. So it's kind of funny. America, Kissinger used to say, to be an American enemy is dangerous, but it's even more dangerous to be their friend. And I would actually say that now for Israel. It is dangerous to be their enemy, but you're really in trouble if you are their friend. I mean, I don't mean it in a bad sense. I mean, I have a very healthy respect for the Israelis, and especially the Army, Air Force, Mossad, Shin Bet. They are world class outfits, world class. Absolutely.
Right. So, could this supremacy through AI, cyber, and surveillance become more decisive than nuclear power weapons in shaping global power in the coming decades?
These are complementary. They are
Mm-hmm.
basically force multipliers. So I
Mm-hmm.
think you brought up an issue, and I'm going to say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
The confrontation now brewing is going to pitch the top line Chinese technology
Mm-hmm.
versus
Okay.
the Western technology employed by Israel. We're going to see OpenAI, Sam Altman's versus DeepSeek. And I can tell you one thing, DeepSeek is already way ahead. If you use them, it sets up your own network firewall
Okay.
like this. So I would encourage a lot of people to do that. And secondly, I again like to encourage people to turn on and off their cell phones once a day. That protects any malware originating from one country and coming in. So
All
yours?
right. So, there is an other news circulating about the recognition of Palestine. So how historic is that recognition by the UK, Australia, and Canada? What would you comment on that?
Nothing more than diplomatic pressure on Israel because I think you can recognize them, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that. If any ambassadors go to West Bank, I mean, you don't want to have an embassy there with the Israeli military just running over any building they feel like doing. So I think it's just diplomatic pressure and a sign of annoyance by the Europeans. That's all.
Okay. So you also took up the point about that Indian people caught in Doha, Qatar, and in Saudi, I think. So
Yeah,
Indians working with Mossad, do they work for Mossad in other countries as well?
actually, you raised a very good question. What has been so far is in Doha, they caught some Indians who were of the Indian Navy and they convicted.
of the Indian Navy
Mhm.
and they convicted
Indian government intervened and
Indian government
made sure that
made sure
were they made sure that these guys were not released or released early, and eventually there was an agreement between them and the Qataris to release them. But definitely they were of Indian descent. A similar situation also, Iranians have indicated that some IT people in Iran helped them out
helped them out
uh, regarding the in Iran during the attack, and they've taken a lot of guys and convicted them, and basically some of them hanged by the dozens. So there are about 9.7 million people of Indian descent in the Middle East, out of which 2.7 to 3 million are in Saudi Arabia, and about 700,000 of them are of Hindu descent. Now, they definitely, Indians are not they do not like the Pakistanis. So that would be a cause for concern. How the Arab countries handle it, and I just want to make sure that most of the Indians are there to earn a living. They're not there to participate in any asymmetric warfare or other stuff. But for Indians who have been basically coddled all this while, and given very high status in the Middle East, it'll take a little time for them to climb down.
But does that pose risk to Pakistan as a net security provider for Gulf region?
Yes, it provides. It does provide a risk. And, I think that's the Indians long enough. So, if you are playing the big leagues,
All right.
you have to be.
Just to
Yeah.
want to ask a last question that are we witnessing a major realignment of global geopolitics with Pakistan rising, Iran isolated, Ukraine under drone siege, and Palestine gaining recognition? How would you comment on that?
Well, yes, and that is that Europe is becoming geopolitically irrelevant. Middle East, Arabs are becoming irrelevant. However, with the Saudi pact with us, they've become relevant geopolitically. And we are geopolitically risen. India is becoming increasingly irrelevant. And I think for those people who are, it's very hard to accept all that. And this realignment is going to start also from Ukraine, where Russia is just totally pulverizing the hell out of Ukraine. So realignment is going to start taking place, and I think we are seeing that after our Muslim leaders meet Trump. No Muslim NATO till the issue of Iran completes itself. Otherwise, we will put everybody at risk, because no way West is going to allow Iran to have nuclear weapons.
All right. So we'll continue to track how these stories are basically reshaping the global balance of power. So thanks for the elaborative questions.
Thank you. And thank you very much. We will discuss exactly, take it up from here, where things are going. And that is going to be 2 days from now. Today is the 22nd and on the 24th. And we will have some update on Trump, Afghanistan, the leaders who met there, what happened, give you the inside. And hopefully we will have some news on J35s, J20s, and KJ3000, KJ500. Thank you. Goodbye.